Hey everybody, Steve here in our backyard, and our new patio tables just arrived. They were delivered by Amazon. It took almost 2 weeks to arrive. I couldn't believe how long it took. Normally with Amazon, you order something and you get it the next day, sometimes the same day. So we've got 2 of these tables here. I'm gonna open them and make sure we actually got the right tables in the right color. So I just wheeled this around from the front, from the garage, here to the backyard. And let's see, it doesn't really say if it's the right color, and that was a big deal. This was actually a very, very difficult decision, trying to decide what type of backyard tables to get. What I really wanted was just, or what we both wanted, was just 2 more tables like this one. It's sort of a beigeish tan, very light, very practical, doesn't show the dirt. In fact, it never looks dirty. I just periodically clean it because I know it has to be dirty, but it never looks dirty. And it's just the perfect color, the perfect size, perfect everything for this backyard. Unfortunately, they don't make these anymore. I have not been able to find this particular round table, or any round table in tan or beige like this, anywhere in the world. I mean, I've looked online, I've looked everywhere. I've looked in all the stores. I've gone to Home Depot, to Lowe's, to other furniture stores here in the desert, even used furniture stores, and I haven't been able to find anything. There's Jim. He's actually going to come and help me set this up. So since this particular table that we love, and it's perfect for the backyard, doesn't exist anymore, we went searching, and all we could find was, if we wanted a round table like this, the only available colors were either black or white. And we didn't want either, really. We wanted this color. And as far as the stores like Home Depot and Lowe's, they pretty much now, at least here in the desert, all they carry anymore is black, or like that pot. It's a very, very dark brown, almost black. That's all that's available. So Jim's going to get the instructions out. He's the designated instruction reader. And we also want to double check and make sure it's the right color, because you never know. Since color was the #1 factor in us deciding which tables to get. So anyway, what I was starting to say is that after we decided to get the white tables, get this in white for the corners, just because it's more practical, then I went to Home Depot and Lowe's, and I saw they had some really, really nice tables, very high-end, very luxury-looking tables, outdoor tables, but they were square. They were the right size, 42 inches. So then I started reconsidering, and I took pictures and I brought them home to show Jim to see what he thought. And the thing that was really surprising is that the really luxury looking high-end black tables, or very dark brown tables, were half the price of this white table. So that made the decision very difficult, because, you know, we're very frugal, and so of course we wanted to get the cheapest table. But even though they were half the price, we didn't want square, they didn't have round. They don't seem to carry any round tables anymore. They were almost black. They were extremely dark brown, almost black. And I remember my grandparents lived here in the desert when I was growing up, and they had a black table, and it was always, you know, it gets very hot here in the desert. It gets up to 120 degrees at times, and black absorbs the heat, and so the table was so hot you could never sit next to the table or touch the table, or you'd, you know, burn your hand. So anyway, so the black table, their black table, always looked dirty, you know, because of the dust and dirt. And our water here is hard water. It's full of minerals and calcium. So if you wash anything with the water here, and the water stands on the table, it's just going to get white. So eventually, if I wash those black tables, they would probably be sort of a whitish, grayish black. I mean, it'd be very ugly because of the stains from the calcium from the water. So anyway, we just felt in the end it just wasn't practical at all, because of the heat and the dirt and everything else, and the square table, that the round would be better. So we went with white. From a distance, it almost looks white. So we thought it would probably match this existing table a lot better than the blackish tables would. So I've been working on the back areas here, adding these stepping stones here, these pavers. I still need to remove some of these sprinkler heads, and that means I need to dig up that entire dripping system beginning over here. I capped it off over there, but all of these here are in the wrong spot. So I'm in the process of redoing that. But anyway, it's a start. So once we get the table assembled, we're going to stick one back here and just see exactly how much room it does take. I mean, it's hard to judge really without the table being there. So we'll see in a few minutes. It looks like It is a white table, so that's good. And now we just need to put it together. So what have you found out so far?
Get all the pieces out.
Okay, well I can help you with that. Let me put the camera down. And here they are, all assembled, one on each side of the pool. Once I removed the oleanders from those two areas, it gave us enough room for the two tables and a couple more seating areas. Jim's testing out this one. As you can see, we bought a few pots and a few plants just to see what might look good in this space. And we bought this new yellow umbrella from Amazon as well. It was $50, and I think that's what we paid for the two red umbrellas, which we purchased from Lowe's or Home Depot a couple of years ago. Unfortunately, Lowe's and Home Depot are very limited in their colors, and I wanted something kind of fun and bright, and all of our local stores were very limited in their colors. Even the red is more of a muted red. The yellow umbrella is even a foot larger. Here's a view from one of the back tables. The house blocks most of the beautiful mountain views, but you still get a glimpse. It's nice to have a few different seating areas. And in the morning when the sun rises, this is my favorite spot in the yard to sit and look at the pool and the mountains and listen to the birds. And the shade is nice, especially in the summer. These new white tables were about $300 each and came to a total of $624.88 with tax. And as I mentioned, we could have spent about half as much for the extremely dark brown or blackish square tables that probably look a little bit more modern and a little bit more upscale. But these are more practical and I think they fit better in these spaces here. And I really like their vintage Palm Springs vibe. And we already had white chaise lounges that we've always really liked, so it didn't really make sense to spend a couple $1,000s to replace everything. As you can see, I haven't finished these paver patios yet, but I have managed to remove 9 of the 18 oleanders. So little by little, one day at a time, I am making progress. The roots on this one completely grew around the PVC pipe for the drippers, and the only way to get out the stump was to cut the pipes. Except for all the hard work that goes into digging the trenches, cutting and gluing the pipes is pretty easy. For the time being, I'm going to leave the oleanders, which are much smaller, along the back wall, and finish everything else in the yard first, before we decide what we're going to replace them with. But since I have to replace the entire watering system anyway, I'm going to move these pipes behind the plants instead of having them in front of the plants like I do now. But I just discovered quite a few roots growing on top of these PVC pipes, which is making my job even harder. I do enjoy working in the yard though, so I don't really mind at all. It's supposed to get up to around 70 degrees today, and working like this for hours in the direct sun, it actually feels more like 80 or 90 degrees. It was definitely a lot colder this morning while we were assembling the tables in the shade, and it was also a little bit breezy, which was making it even colder. But right now I'm enjoying this February weather with no wind and lots of sunshine. Before I can finish the paver patio on this side, I need to remove a couple of these dripper heads. And that's why I want the pipe to go a little bit closer to the fence. We're probably going to go with mostly potted plants, and I want to have the dripper hoses coming up from behind to water the plants in the pots. By the way, thanks for all the suggestions and helpful tips on different types of potted plants to use in our yard. I've been doing a lot of research, and a lot of it's based on some of the suggestions you've left in the comment section, and I've been checking out the different nurseries and talking to them as well. And as much as possible, we're going to try to stick with succulents, but we haven't made any final decisions yet. I'm still trying to get used to the bare walls. If it were completely up to Jim, I think he would go with no plants in the backyard at all. He really hates the mess from all the dead leaves and flowers and the debris that gets all over the yard from our plants and from the neighbors' plants. And I agree, but I'm also the one who does all the yard work. And I would rather have plants and deal with the mess rather than have no plants. That's why we haven't made any final decisions yet on plants. So I just wanted to give you an update and a preview. Until next time, take care everybody, and I hope you're staying warm.